What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react to some things that Norwegians do in their homes that are apparently very shocking. So today, I'm gonna have to break into some Norwegian houses and sneak inside and look around and see. Okay, no, today I want to take a look at this video and try to learn about some of these big home and living differences between Norway and the United States. So let's take a look at this.
So today we're talking about the 5 things that you would find in every Norwegian household that an American simply would not understand. And more importantly, what I think those things reveal about Norwegian culture. Let's start at the door. And I'm not talking about the
they take their shoes off before they come in the house.
Because yes, they do, but that's not the interesting part. The interesting
Wait, what? So, in Norway, you take your shoes off before going into the house? That's not like the craziest thing. I'll say it might catch some Americans off guard because here in the US, it's split. It depends on how you were raised, it depends on your family. Like, the way I was raised, you should pretty much always take your shoes off when you're going into a house, especially someone else's house. You don't want to like get dirt and mud and right? That makes sense to me. Like, but there's a lot of people I know that like don't care and just like walk around their house in their shoes. So it kind of depends for Americans. So if in Norway you always take shoes off, I actually like that. I wish we were like that. But that's not even the interesting thing. Okay, what's the crazy thing?
The interesting part is that I think the entire house is basically designed around that one fact alone. Depending on who you are, in America, entryways are often very decorative. A cute console table, maybe a mirror. In Norway, the average Norwegian household's entryway is a functional transition chamber. It's built for survival. There are
That's what like the entrance to the house looks like? It's interesting because this is like what the garage would look like in a typical house in the United States. Like this is a lot like what if you go in the garage and come in through the back door or the side door, it might look kind of like with coats and shoes. And is this what the front door looks like in a Norwegian house? Because that's very different.
It's built for survival. There are hooks everywhere, reflective vests for kids, wool layers, rain boots, boots for snow, boots for mud, boots for hiking, boots for these are cute, but they're actually waterproof. The floor is usually tile, and it can handle chaos because it expects chaos. And almost always, there's this little detail that most Americans miss out on: the shoe horn. Not
the shoe horn? What? What does that mean? What is that, an instrument? The shoe horn? Oh, this is the picture. Oh, it's like a stick that helps put your shoe on. Is that common in Norway? You never see this in the US. I've seen this like at a shoe store, like once. So I know what, okay, really? So you guys just like having this like extra help or, well, it seems like in Norway, with all the crazy weather, it's just a totally different culture. Like she's saying, the front door has to be like a utility. All the shoes and the coats and all the different weathers and the thing that helps put your shoe on. And for most of the United States, like it's very, very predictable. So like I have one pair of shoes for almost like the entire year, most years. Yeah, like one pair. So the front door is much more, she had a good picture of it. Like it's very decorative and wooden floors and yeah.
Not one of those tiny plastic ones you get for free at the state fair sometimes. A long, often metal or wooden shoehorn, sometimes nearly 2 feet long and hanging by the door like it's the most important tool in the household because honestly, it kind of is.
Oh, I didn't know it was that big. This is like a whole thing. She's right. That is the most obscure, specific that like I would never know that about Norwegian houses. That's interesting. Why is that such a big thing in Norway? Cuz like in the US it would be convenient. We just don't even think about having that.
In the US, shoehorns feel antique, something your grandfather might own, right? In Norway, they're standard equipment. And I think why is because Norwegians wear very structured footwear. And not only very structured, but very practical. Practical shoes that are built to last. And the point of the shoehorn is to preserve the heel of the shoe, therefore extending the life of the shoe. And for people who invest heavily in proper footwear, they care about that longevity. And
It's not just a convenience thing. It's like you have expensive shoes and they're nice and like weatherproof and you're trying not to hurt them. I never would have thought about that.
And back to the shoe rule itself, it isn't just about cleanliness here. I think it also has to do with boundaries. I think you can almost relate it back to Norway's strong distinction between public and private life. And taking off your shoes when you enter the home is sort of symbolic of that. You leave the outside world at the door, literally and physically. In America, I think the boundary between public and private life is blurrier.
Do you think this is true? Is she reading too much into it? Because she's kind of doing like an analysis of Norwegian culture, like how you think. Is that fair to say? Like taking off your shoes at home. I would think that's to be clean, but it could also be like symbolic. Like, okay, I'm done with the outside world.
Big idea is that we host, we entertain, and our homes become a sort of extension of our social lives. And that's a difference that shows up immediately at the shoehorn. Now on to number 2, the drying rack. Americans love their drying machines. We throw everything in. Towels, sometimes jeans.
Do you guys not have a dryer? What do you mean? Don't you have this? Like a washing machine and a dryer? Surely in Norway you have this, right? What is a drying rack?
Emotional baggage, go ahead and throw that in there too. But in Norway, almost every household has a foldable drying rack, one of these. And it's usually in the...
Huh? What is this? A drying for like you just let stuff sit there? Why? It's very like old school, like old fashioned, I guess. Like why is this better than a dryer?
And it's usually in the living room, and it's usually permanently stationed like a piece of furniture that everyone has sort of collectively agreed to ignore. And here's the thing, Norway absolutely has dryers. We have one ourselves. So it's not because the technology has not arrived. I think it's because of one reason specifically, wool. Norwegians own a lot of wool. Wool socks, wool underwear, wool sweaters, and wool cannot be aggressively tumble dried. So
These are really it's fascinating because these are so specific. You would have to live in Norway to ever notice this stuff. So this is really cool, by the way. We don't have a lot of like genuine wool clothing. That stuff is expensive. And some people don't even like the feeling of it, or I think mostly because it's like too high quality. Or anyway, you can't put that in a machine, really. So well, that makes sense. This stuff is like weird at first, but the logic behind it makes sense once you understand.
So because of this, it's almost like a habit to just hang everything else up also. And you can even make it come back to that Norwegians will buy something of quality and they don't want it to be ruined. They preserve
That's kind of been lost here in the US. Now a lot of things are very cheap and like you don't really worry. You expect to replace your shoes every year. You expect to replace stuff. Whereas in Norway, it seems like you guys actually care, invest in high quality stuff, and you take care of it, that takes effort. It's another thing we don't want to do.
The longevity of their items. Or I even thought about the sustainability aspect of it. Norwegians love their sustainability and being sustainable. So if anything can use less water, I think a good chunk of Norwegians would jump on that opportunity.
Yeah, talk about something that Americans are not thinking about. Unfortunately, yeah, that is the furthest thing from our mind. Saving water or saving electricity, that is not part of American culture at all. So, good for you guys, respect. Because we would never have the patience for this.
There's also something very honest about it. You go to someone's house, and yes, there might be socks hanging up in the corner, but that's because life is happening. It's not hidden away in a laundry room the size of a...
That's a good point. In the US, people would be like embarrassed. Americans would be embarrassed to have clothing out drying. Like we have too much ego. So I think that's spot on.
Small apartment. However, I do miss being able to wash and dry my clothes in under an hour.
Yeah.
That is something that I took for granted. Number 3, 2 people, 2 blankets. In America, 1 bed, 1 blanket.
What?
2 people, 2 blankets.
What? Is this normal? This is the most difficult for me to understand yet. This is the strangest to me yet, I should say. This is like if you're married, like husband and wife even, living in the same house, same bed, but it's split and different blankets. I think this is just weird to Americans because for us, this would mean like you're having relationship problems if you use a different blanket or it, like symbolically means your relationship is split. I don't. It's funny because like when you think about it, that it's kind of silly. I don't know. There's just something about seeing this. This is so radically different from what we do. It shouldn't be that weird, to be honest. Huh. This is interesting.
In America, 1 bed, 1 blanket. Perhaps you fight over it during the night. Maybe someone steals it every night.
Yeah.
However, in Norway,
Yeah.
1 bed, yes, but 2 blankets. We do not share duvets here. So you quite literally cannot steal it because it is not yours to steal. When I first saw this,
I mean, I hate to say it, but maybe you guys have like figured it out. Maybe this is better. I don't know if Americans would ever accept this as normal, but from a logical point of view, I get it. Like you're 2 different people. You probably want you might want different blankets, different textures. You might want to wrap the blanket around you. You don't want to share. So why should you have to suffer at night just to uphold some kind of symbolic thing about a relationship that isn't even true? Now that I say it out loud, maybe the Norwegian way it makes more sense. I can't believe that.
I did actually kind of think mildly alarming, I guess. Like, are we okay? Is this a cultural indication of something here? But it turns out it's practical. It prevents arguments.
Yeah.
It helps with sleep. And
Yeah.
it allows temperature control. My favorite part about it.
Yeah.
One person can have a thick winter duvet. The other can choose a lighter duvet. And there's actually research supporting the idea that separate duvets reduce nighttime disturbances between partners.
I can't believe this. I've never thought about this because in the United States, it's so normal to have 1 blanket. And there's actually, like I said, like a stigma, like 1 blanket, 1 couple, 1 marriage, it's expected. But it's like, why? This makes more sense. That's crazy that, like, we don't even think about these kind of things. Wow.
And it works. I no longer wake up sweating in a tug of war competition with my husband at 3 a.m. I sort of relate this back to, I don't know, maybe Norwegians care about sleep more than like an aesthetically pretty looking bed.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know. You tell me in the comments what you think this means. Okay, number 4. I'm going to talk a little bit more about food and utensils.
Okay.
And I'm going deeper than,
Brown cheese.
yes, brown cheese.
Brown cheese. Norway has brown cheese, which is weird. I've heard it's good, but in the U.S., if the cheese is brown, that means it's like gone bad. It's scary to us, but I know it's good in Norway. What else? So this is utensils, like forks and food, and okay.
Exists, and yes, Americans are confused by it. But what's more interesting is the bread culture surrounding it. Most Norwegian kitchens will have very dedicated bread spaces. A bread drawer, a bread box, a bread basket. Bread is not an afterthought here. It's central to the Norwegian food experience.
Oh. That's a good way of putting it. In the US, bread is like nothing. It's like, it's kind of lame. Like, and bread in the US is very boring, like, and very artificial, and you guys obviously think of bread totally different. You have a dedicated space for it, and you guys must have like all the fancy hard breads, and we don't really do that in the US. So I feel like we're kind of missing out on something.
Open-faced sandwiches are the national breakfast time and lunchtime food in the Scandinavian countries. And the cheese slicer, invented in Norway, by the way, in 1952 by Tord
Okay.
By Tord Bjørklund. It's also everywhere. It's not optional. It's a Norwegian kitchen essential.
Oh. I wonder if there's anything we do that's weird to Norwegians. Like a tool we have. Like we don't know anything about a cheese slicer. Like I'd just use a knife. But yeah. This is completely different. It's cool. I just don't really know anything about it, and and I'm kind of fascinated because I like bread. Funny enough, even though it's very boring here, I actually like bread. I think I would love some of this like Norwegian bread stuff.
And the slicer itself, I think, is revealing of Norwegian and Scandinavian culture. It creates thin, even slices, no excess. Because Norwegian food culture historically developed around scarcity. One, Norway wasn't always a rich country. They were very poor. And long winters required foods that lasted. Cured meats, cheeses, dense breads. Even today, the national dietary guidelines emphasize whole grains, fish, dairy, and moderation. And Norway has also implemented policies like the sugar tax. And you compare that to the American food abundance culture, where you have oversized portions, hidden ingredients, and hyper-processed convenience.
Yeah, I know that we're known for this, and I mean it's absolutely true. Like, I know that our food is processed and sugary, and it's not good for you. From what I understand, a lot of stuff in the US would be banned in Europe. But anyway, so the food, I guess it makes sense, like it's totally different.
The entire Norwegian food system is relatively transparent, even down to the brødskive. You see the bread, you see the toppings, nothing's buried. And last but not least, number 5, sheepskin. There is a moment when you've lived in Norway long enough that you stop noticing the sheepskins.
Sheepskins? What is that? What are we talking about? What do you mean? Sheepskin for what? Clothing? What? I've never heard of this.
They're on dining chairs, they're on benches, they're draped over sleds, they're on the floor at the cabin, and sometimes they're just casually thrown over what appears to be a completely normal modern IKEA chair.
Sheep skin is normal. Like a pelt. Like just an animal skin. I mean, sheep are very fluffy and fuzzy and like they make wool, right? Which is great, but I didn't know Norwegian culture had literally like dead animals, sheep skin on stuff. I'm not saying it's bad. Like I had no idea.
If you walk into a Norwegian home and there isn't at least one sheepskin pelt somewhere, I would be shocked. To an
Really?
American, I think a sheepskin could feel decorative. It's rustic chic, right? It's Pinterest cabin core. But in Norway, it's practical.
Yeah, here that would be weird. I would think that that person's very eccentric or very like outdoorsy, like they hunt. Because some Americans have like dead animal heads on the wall. Like it's not unheard of. But this is just everywhere in Norway. Wow.
And it's historical. Real sheepskin is incredibly insulating. It traps heat while remaining breathable. And when you live in a country where large parts of the year are cold, soft insulation layers matter everywhere. Not
Okay.
only do Norwegians use sheepskin inside, they use sheepskin outside. You'll go to a cafe in October and it's 7 degrees outside, and on every chair, under every person, a sheepskin.
I don't really have any problem with this, and it sounds like again of like something that's just confusing for Americans because we're not exposed to it. It's different, but like it makes sense when you like, especially for Norway, if this stuff is like very warm, or if you just think it's like beautiful, or I don't know. That's this was very interesting. I have to say, I really enjoyed this video. She clearly has like it seems like an American who's lived in Norway and noticed these really oddly specific things that you would never hear about here in the U.S. So this was cool. You guys, some of this stuff is strange to me. I'll be honest, but a lot of these things actually sound like good. Like I like it. Like I wish we did some of these things. Like had nice bread and took our shoes off more and yeah. So some of these things I actually really like and make and two blankets, two duvets. Like some of this stuff actually we should maybe think about. I didn't expect that. So this was really cool. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts, especially if you're Norwegian and you like do these things, you understand this. That'd be cool to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.